In this Tech Talk, I'm speaking with Clint Adams, VP of Sales and Marketing for CBF Bakery Systems and Babbco Tunnel Ovens. And we are exploring the aspects of impingement technology for ovens. Hi, Clint. Thanks for joining me today.
Hi, Joanie. Thanks. Appreciate you spending the time with me today.
So I am very interested in getting to the nitty-gritty of this very technical topic. And I think I'm going to kick it off with a very general question and just ask you to sort of walk me through impingement heat.
Well, there's lots of different types of heat, and at Babco, we obviously we bake with all of those different types, depending on the product needs, and the different types of heat out there. Of course, heat transfer is what we're talking about, whether it's radiant heat, infrared, the common direct gas-fired ribbon burners, electric, and so on. Well, impingement is just another tool in the toolbox. Impingement heat is basically we're using air velocity to help with the heat transfer from the burners, from the flame that's in the oven. And whether that's direct or indirect, we can still use that air velocity to basically help increase that heat transfer with variable speed fans and control of the exhaust and so on.
Okay, so are there any specific aspects of how the air circulates in the oven that sort of sets impingement heat apart from other technologies?
Yeah, like I said, and instead of just your typical convection, in the older style ovens that were called colorators, I think a lot of times where you just have a little bit of convection, lower velocity, creating that turbulence to remove the vapor barrier so you can get the heat to the product. This is a little more directed in the manner that we're directing the air to the product and able to break through that moisture barrier with a lot more intensity. So that gives us more control through the oven, because we're able to control that heat, because the product is only going to see temperatures, the heat transfer where you were asking it to get the heat transfer. You're not just leaving it up to natural convection of the flames to get to the product, or radiant that would be coming from the sidewalls of the oven.
Okay, that totally makes sense. So you said control, and it kind of sparked a thought for me, and that is around energy savings, because that is something that's really important to bakers today. I'm hearing more and more bakers talk about how important energy savings is. And in a bakery, what role does the oven play in controlling energy costs, and how does impingement technology sort of play into that?
It's a great question. It is one of the most efficient ways to bake out there. It's about 35 to 50% more fuel efficient than an indirect fired oven, and probably 20 to 30% more efficient than just your ribbon burners on a direct gas fired. And you're able to do that by decreasing bake time on some products. Some products can take it. It's still very product dependent on how much bake time you may reduce. But the other big thing is we're recirculating all of that air, all of the hot air in the oven. We're keeping it within the chamber, and that will significantly reduce the operating cost. There's minimum exhaust required to control in the oven, so they're on VFDs. So between that reduction in bake time, and then also if you reduce the bake time, and let's say you're doing a swap out of an oven of an older asset, then sometimes this oven, if you reduce the bake time, you are able to shorten that footprint a little bit, and it gives you the space back for whatever it may be.
So, Clint, with that modular design, how are you able to work with bakers to help them anticipate future needs as they plan to grow their bakery? How does this technology sort of help with that future planning?
Yes, well, the air impingement in particular is a very flexible oven, and so let's say that in the future the products change or something. You can very easily change the bake profile for that oven. So you're not, let's say if you had a radiant oven in the old days, that radiant oven was only a bread oven, and certain products would not bake well in it. But with the air impingement oven, we still have the flexibility that you can run multiple different types of products. Again, with it being modular, if let's say the bake time is longer, so you need to increase the length of the oven, we can then come in and expand the length of the oven to whatever may be needed.
So it sounds like this is something that's highly customizable.
Very customizable. Again, we're just a custom shop, and there is not a standard module size nor a standard size of oven. To the foot, just about. We build the oven to what is needed for the customer.
Okay, so then, what types of product are best suited for an impingement oven?
Well, air impingement, what we found, and we have a test center in Massachusetts, in Raynham, Massachusetts, at our test center. We can do the test baking. But what we found is we baked all types of products in the air impingement oven. Sometimes people have a thought in their mind that one product can only be baked in a certain type of oven, but we found that this oven has some positives in the fact that it's sanitary, it's easy to clean. It doesn't have the radiant heat, the flash heat, like I was mentioning earlier, that for control. So therefore, you can have products that may not need the radiant heat. But then let's say you do want radiant heat in a product, a hearth type bread. We are able to put in high emissive plates in the oven where we can actually use radiant heat to bake some of those products. We've done that for cookies and the spread of cookies, sheet cakes and muffins, and different cake products is where we've had the most success in reduction in bake time. So cake is a big driver for air impingement, but we've also baked cheesecake, which cheesecake is a long and slow bake, but we're able to there put the heat on the bottom with the impingement, but then in the top, little or no heat coming from the top. And we're actually able to create a Venturi effect and then a partial vacuum. And so you protect the top of that cheesecake. So if you have a cheesecake that you do not want a lot of color on the cheesecake, we're able to achieve that in an air impingement. And it's a little bit of a falsehood. People that do not understand our technology don't understand that we can bake such products in an air impingement.
So it sounds like because it's so customizable that bakers can really plan for the future if they're thinking about adding a product line into their portfolio, they can do that at a later date with this type of oven technology.
Correct. And if I could step back a little bit on, as technology changes in the future and we're trying to be ahead of the game with sustainability, we're also fitting our ovens today for the future. If you would like to go to electric oven, the same oven that is gas using air impingement, we can also change over to be electric in the future with very little constraints on doing that. Wow. So yes, it is very customizable. And so for the future, whether it's for energy savings or for different products, we should be able to fit the needs of the customer.
Amazing. Well, Clint, I only have one question left for you, and that is, what's the best way for a baker to get in touch to learn more about impingement oven technology?
You can always go to our website, of course, babbco.com. You can always reach out to me. I'm available. I'm sure my contact information will be around. I'm sure it's on here somewhere, Joanie, but appreciate your time.
Clint, it was so great talking to you, and I really appreciate you taking time to walk me through this cool oven technology.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate the time.